Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 73, I believe, or 72, somewhere in there. Whatever episode number it says in the title is the episode number it is. How you guys doing today? We're starting the live show version of this a bit later than usual. I've had a lot of issues, a lot of tech issues and other things behind the scenes that had to just delay things. Couldn't get my camera to get recognized by my computer in any application, so that was a problem. And then I was like, should I jerry rig up my webcam and make that work? And we don't have any Eric today because, well, as I said last week, Eric might be gone for the next 5 to 6 weeks. So you might not see him for a while. It might be almost Black Friday by the time you see Eric back here. But that doesn't mean we aren't going to have a show. So as always, I am your host, Nathaniel Rumpeljans. And to my right, you guys have Mr. Mike Odyssey. How's it going, buddy?
Going on?
Mike looks concerned. I think he was just trying to get all serious and centering his camera a little bit in my frame. So we're gonna put on a show. Next week we will have 3 people. I already have a guest confirmed for next week, and one after, and you guys kind of see how it goes. We're gonna keep this thing rolling as best we can, and we'll adjust the layout and stuff as we go here. I've got other layouts I wanted to use besides this one. Actually, this one conveniently just converts really well into a 2-person layout. But when we might have 3 or 4, we're going to switch things up a bit and switch the graphics and everything. But we'll worry about that down the line. For now, this is what you get today. And we're going to be talking about a couple things. Yes, Bayonetta 3. We'll talk about that again. And it won't just all be about the voice actor situation, although I thought we were done with it, and then Monday happened. So that's a thing. We'll talk about that. It's it's almost an embarrassing moment, if I'm honest. At least if it was me, I'd feel a little bit embarrassed. We also have more happening because maybe there's a new Switch coming next year. And we're going to talk about why that might be the case. Don't know if it'll be a Pro or a 2 or what, but something with upgraded hardware. We'll get into that in a moment. Before we do, hi everyone, I want to get into what have we been playing lately. And I'll start because for me it's super simple. I'm sitting here glancing at my Switch, and I'm wondering, what did I actually play lately? And the bottom line is, the last time I played Sparks of Hope, which I did live stream with you guys, is still loaded on my Switch, which means I have not touched my Switch since that live stream. I will say this, though. It's not because I don't want to play games. There's really no other way to say this. I might make a standalone video on it later. And I know a lot of people are going to say things like take a break or run away, do what you need to do. But my depression's back, guys. I don't really know how to talk that much about it because so much of it is a personal thing. But depression's been really kicking my ass for, I'd say, at least 2, 3, maybe 4 days now. And honestly, I've got like 2 things that I look forward to every day. One of them is seeing my smiling fiance before I go to bed. And the other one is making content for you guys. That's one reason why it's like, no, I'm not going to stop making content. Why would I get rid of one of the few things that distracts me from the mess that's going on in my head right now? So I do apologize if my regular content isn't coming out. Like if I don't have the Prime 5 rocking, I know I really haven't been doing that. And just my videos are kind of random because it's all about when I feel good enough to be able to do it. And when's the right time for me to tackle content, tackle this stream or podcast and everything else. This isn't something I really want you guys concerning yourselves with. I'm already getting help. It's all good. I'll be okay. I've been in this position before. I know how to get out. It's just going to take me a while. It's just the way it is. It's a process. Anyone who's ever had depression knows most of you guys don't ever get out. My fiance certainly has never gotten out. She's had it her whole life. I've gotten out. Now I'm back in. That obviously means, it never really goes away. It just kind of subsides. If you're lucky, I will get it to subside again. But until then, you might go, why not play games? I just don't feel like it. I grab my Switch, I look at it, and I'll be honest, I was so angry the other day, I threw it all the way across the room. Credit to Nintendo, it didn't break. Or maybe it's credit to the case I have it and it didn't break. I don't know. So I don't trust myself to even try to play a video game because if one frustrating thing happens in the game, I will probably break my Switch. I even played some Madden games. I happened to win them, but I kept thinking, what if I would have lost? Would I have chucked my controller at this TV? Because it's not even about the games. It's about everything else in my life, and I don't need any more negativity. Thankfully, this channel is a positive thing in my life. My fiance is a positive thing. My children can be here and there. If you're a parent, you know being a parent is stressful. But I'll get out of it. I want to obviously give credit to Mike. I've talked a little bit to him about this stuff. It's always nice to know I got a friend anytime I need one. And I want to thank the community for being here and supporting and the videos and watching all this stuff and sticking through this podcast. So if you guys ever notice I'm a little off, you know why. I don't want to keep talking about it. I just want to make my content, do my live streams when I feel like it, and kind of just live my life. And I'll always let you guys know if I am not going to be okay. And I will let you know when I'm on the other side of it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. That being said, that's why I haven't played anything. Mike, what have you been playing lately?
Well, a lot of surprisingly, I did play Sparks of Hope for a little bit. Got to 1%. I 1%ed it. Then I've been playing for some reason Animal Crossing. Mostly, I'm there with you, Nate. I know how it feels to be at that position. Been there for for many years, you know. And everybody finds a way to climb out of it, you know. Of course, for some people, their loved ones, you know. As somebody who look at this guy, 1% and then Animal Crossing, yeah. I 1%ed Sparks of Hope, so I'm done with that one. So for somebody who has been there, what really helped me was seeing counseling in the church, and that basically it helped a lot. You know what I mean? For some people, everybody has their own ways of finding their peace and their way out of the I call it a like a hole. Sometimes we dig ourselves into, or sometimes the hole finds us and we just fall into it without fault of our own. But that's how I find it. And if I encourage you guys to maybe seek a church around you. Find if there is any part of it that offers that type of help, seek it, because in my case, it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. It really did. I was on my own I was homeless. I used to be homeless. So, I went through a whole lot of issues too myself, so, and that's how I was able to find peace. But I wanted to offer that just in case, but what I've been playing, Animal Crossing, I went to Animal Crossing for some reason. I always go back to that game because it's so calming and relaxing. Whenever you have a stressful day or something situation, I just go back. For some reason, I go back to Animal Crossing. It's like a little world, And then although I go back to it, and my villagers don't remember me because I've been gone for years, I just like to go back to it and do stuff. But I also been playing Spark of Hope, Animal Crossing, and played a little Mario. I was able to finish Mario 3D, the Wii U version one, the new Super Mario Brothers Wii U. Is it Wii
New
U?
Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
Yeah, that one. And then I'm on to finishing my last Mario, and then I have played all of them and finished all of them, which is I'm still working on the one for Mario Sunshine. Yeah, Mario Sunshine. I go back to it every once in a while and play a little bit, but my goal is to actually finish every Mario game. So that's my last one so far. I finished the Mario Run game, including that one. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. All right. Well, this is obviously a big week for a lot of people. We have Bayonetta 3 coming out. So some people are super stoked for that. Some of you guys are playing Sparks of Hope right now. Some of you guys are waiting for Pokemon Scarlet Violet next month. Heck, some of you guys are probably playing Persona 5 Royale. That came out too recently. Like people playing that. Maybe some of you are still checking on Nier Automata as well. That came out a couple weeks back. It's been a pretty packed release slate, and November doesn't really slow down for Switch. There's a lot of big games coming out. Then it kind of slows in December as far as we're aware. Picks back up in January. February's loaded. March right now, not so much. But then we have Zelda in May, so maybe they're going to have like a little light month where maybe some third parties can come in. Maybe we'll get Hogwarts Legacy dropped in there at some point, or some other third party games to fill in the gaps. But then we got Zelda, of course, on May 12th.
But don't forget about the February Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, probably.
That's where
they'll probably be a February Direct. Yeah. I mean, they could do one in January, guys.
They start filling out the year.
Yeah. They're also going to probably start ramping up, obviously, Mario movie advertising at some point. We'll probably get a new trailer, possibly before the end of the year. Definitely probably one that appears in movie theaters with all the family movies. We'll probably get Zelda advertising ramp up at some point. Maybe it'll start the February Direct. Maybe it'll be before that. We got Game Awards coming up. We could see Mario movie there. Could see Zelda there. I mean, Zelda will at least be up for most anticipated game, I'm sure. So you'll at least see it named there, maybe, if they show the award on screen. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time. We have a lot of stuff packed into basically like a 6-month period right now, and that's really nice. We sometimes go through dry spells as Nintendo fans where we don't have a lot of exclusives coming, and we're just talking about some indie games. There's some third-party stuff, and here we have some big third-party and big indie and big Nintendo games all in 6 months, and I find that to be quite glorious. And I'm sure the other platforms might get a little bit jealous sometimes because PlayStation and Xbox still haven't really hit their stride with exclusives. Now they're getting some really big third-party games, of course, but they haven't hit that exclusive stride yet that I think is going to begin next year. I mean, I know we have God of War Ragnarok here. Like that's going to be a really big deal on PlayStation 5. But then it might be a bit before you get the next game. Whereas it's like, hey guys, we just had Sparks of Hope. Oh, now we're having Bayonetta 3. Oh, then we have Pokemon. Oh, then we have a remaster of Kirby happening in February. Then we have Zelda, and like we know, we have just rapid fire games coming, and we don't really know when the next big thing's coming for PlayStation or the next big thing for Xbox. So I think next year is going to be it. I think we're going to get something early in the year, a PlayStation Direct or State of Play is what they call it. Or one of their Xbox shows, and they're going to actually show some stuff and be like, hey, here's, they're going to have 3 games, I think, at the beginning of next year for each platform, but it's going to be, for now, it's nice that we don't have to worry about that. We know up to Zelda, we got stuff to look forward to. It's after that, that's complete mystery at this point. Metroid Prime 4 at some point, and that's Pikmin 2, Pikmin 4 at some point as well. It's supposed to come next year, but like those are the only ones we know beyond Zelda. So I want to not jump into the Bayonetta stuff right away because obviously a lot of you guys might be a little tired of that conversation, but we're still going to have it because we didn't have this part of the conversation on the podcast because I don't think anybody really thought that Helena Taylor was going to say anything else after she said, I just want to forget the character and go back to the theater. And then when she decided to talk, we definitely didn't think she was going to go the route that she did.
Yeah.
Figured she might actually try to defend herself. And she feels like she did. But it's not really what happened. I'm confused, but we'll get into that later. Let's first jump into Switch Pro, Switch 2, new Nintendo platform, and why, at least I think, we might be getting one in 2023. And it's not based on rumors. This isn't based on some leak out there, or NVIDIA, or anything crazy, or Nintendo getting hacked like a couple years ago. No, this is based on 2 things. One, Shintaro Furukawa repeating 3 times. I went back and checked the investors meetings. He said in 3 separate investors meetings, he knows Nintendo has a history of peaking and then falling off a cliff, and he wants to prevent that from happening. Okay? Now, what does that mean? You peaked, then you fell off. Obviously, then the Wii U bombed. DS peaked. 3DS is actually the worst selling handheld Nintendo's ever released. So that's a bomb. NES peaked. SNES not quite as much. And then the N64 not quite as much as that. And then the GameCube not quite as much as the N64. Game Boy Advance never quite reached the heights of the OG Game Boy. There's this history with Nintendo that they get really popular with something and then they can't repeat the success. And at least not right away. Obviously, the history is, okay, well, every 3 generations, they bounce back. But he wants it to just be a continuous thing. He doesn't want it to, you might fall, you might stumble, you might trip and almost fall off the cliff, but then you recover. And that's what he kind of stated he wanted to happen. And then people started speculating on, what does this mean? What's he going to do different? Because Shintaro Furukawa is a business person. He's not a game developer. He didn't come from the game development space. So before him, we were being run by Satoru Iwata, who came from game development. And so his mindset on how to approach things was completely different than someone who looks at numbers and makes decisions. That's what he's been doing his entire career, Shintaro Furukawa, and that's maybe a big reason they thought Nintendo needed a change to a more business-oriented person at the top. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Usually for investors, it's a very good thing. For fans, it can be a little 50-50 when you have someone worry more about money than maybe anything else. But there can be some benefits to it. And the benefit is the number 2 thing. And that is that with Nintendo's history, Nintendo's heading towards that history again, unless they do something. Nintendo Switch peaked in 2020. We all know, pandemic, 28 million in a year. Then they had 25 million. Now they projected 20 million this year, and it's probably going to be 15 or under projected for next year, at least for this particular platform. And you can go, okay, well, we're clearly seeing a sales decline. It's going to be the end of year 6, by the way. It's not the beginning. Some people are like, oh, yeah, it's going to be the 6th birthday, so we're entering the 6th year of Switch on March 3rd. No. March 3rd, 2023, the platform has been out for 6 years. We're actually beginning the 7th year. So we're actually almost done. We're in the tail end, in the second half, late in the second half of the 6th year of Switch. So we are already past a typical generation. For those who don't know, 6 years isn't the normal Nintendo generation. It's actually 5. So
it's
we're already,
max.
we're already, it's like 6 is like max. 5 is their average. And that's, I wouldn't do the math on this. It's literally about 5 is their average, 6 is tops, and we're already going to be past 6 probably before anything else comes out. Now, that being said, the reasoning that this becomes a conversation isn't just because of what Shintaro Furukawa said, it's what's happening in the market right now. Switch has fallen behind in the MPD behind PlayStation 5 for 2 straight months. It now, in the second month falling behind, fell behind in terms of revenue to the Xbox, which means the Xbox, which, by the way, is selling a system cheaper than the OLED, and obviously a more expensive one, the Series X, is getting really close in number sales to the Switch. And that's here in North America, and you can say, oh, it's only one territory. But yeah, it's only the territory that makes up 60% of Nintendo's revenue. This is a massive territory. They have to pay attention to it. Yes, Switch is still dominating in Japan, but its year-over-year sales are actually down. Okay, so it's sinking in Japan as well. It's just not as noticeable because, well, nobody there seems to care about anything else that isn't a handheld Nintendo platform right now. And then you look at the UK charts. You're starting to see Nintendo games sinking lower and lower down those charts. You're starting to see Switch going lower and lower down the charts in Spain and France and Germany and Australia. And it shouldn't be happening. We're heading into the holiday season. Things should be going up. And they are for everybody else. For Nintendo, they're just kind of staying even keel. Switches are plentiful. They're all over the place. They're flooded on shelves. Shintaro Furukawa told himself, we can't make anymore. We also don't think we should make anymore. But we're not sure we'd sell them. And I'm not saying they won't sell out on Black Friday. Not saying that. Not saying there won't be a massive sales period in December. But the writing's on the wall that when the calendar turns, next January is about to be possibly the worst January for Switch to date. And the February might be the worst. And that March might be the worst. We are at the point where it has reached market saturation. And that's what the numbers are saying. This is just fact-based stuff. You can go look it up yourselves if you want. I detailed it in a video already today. And that's where my argument stems, that if Shintaro Furukawa is serious about preventing that cliff, and it's a two-part thing, not only is he serious, and the next platform is just a more powerful version of Switch. Switch Pro, Switch 2, but whatever it is, if the next thing Nintendo plans to release is just a more powerful version of this, then yes, 2023 is the time. Switch is still relevant. It still sells good enough. The game sales are still good. But things are trending in the negative way. And this is precisely when you want to get something out. You don't want to milk it till 2024, till 2025. They did that with Wii. Didn't work out for them so well. If Wii U would have been the Wii HD and came out in 2010, would have done way better than the Wii U 2 years later. Nintendo waited too long. They waited too long with the DS. They waited too long with the NES, etc., etc., etc. The writing's on the wall. And if you want proof that this works, you just need to look at basically the number one competitor to Nintendo, the PlayStation brand. Every time their sales start to trend down after they peak, they bring out a new platform. Oh, their platform is still popular. It's still big. PlayStation 4 did 15 million in sales last year. Now it's doing like 0. And the PlayStation 5 is now the top dog. That's how you maintain consistent sales generation to generation. The roadmap's already there. The question is, will Nintendo do it, or will they milk Switch until nobody wants one, and then trying to get the market back? So, Mike, what do you think?
I think it's I want to start by saying this. I think that Nintendo's next either upgrade to the Switch or next generation console, they already have it done. It's done. It's sitting somewhere in their top secret headquarters. It's there. They know what to do with it. They know what it does. And I really hope that they're actually watching the market and they're planning. Right now they're planning to release this, because I think it's time. I think it's time. I've always said this. Look, guys, if you just bought a Switch, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry, because guess what? If Nintendo does release the next gen console, next upgraded whatever, I'm pretty sure Nintendo will still continue to support the Switch for at least a couple more years, 3-4 years. Look, the Wii U and the 3D shop are just closing now from when Nintendo released the Switch in 2017. So if you just bought a Nintendo Switch, don't frown. Don't worry. I mean, it's time for a new console. Yes, it is, but don't worry if you just bought one. Relax, you'll still have some service. But it is time for Nintendo to do something big and better. I was reading this article because I made this video a couple of days ago, and I put a Switch. I think I put a little dead face on the little Switch on the little Switch like that, like a little dead face on the happy face thingy. People didn't like it that, but I mean, it is what it is. My point there was based on an article that Miyamoto was in, where he said that Nintendo is always looking for the next best way to play a game. So they're trying not to mimic the prior generation console, but looking for new ways to create a good experience when it comes to gameplay. And I was like, no, don't wander too off, because you've come a long way with the Switch and you kind of almost perfected the form factor of giving the people a choice whether they want to play on handheld mode and on dock mode. So you actually made people save some money and not sell them a dock a console and a handheld. You're selling them 2 in 1. And I think that is the success of the Switch itself. People that are buying the Switches because, okay, yeah, I can actually now play it while holding it in my hand and also dock it. Now Nintendo needs to concentrate on power. That's basically it. They perfected. Okay, we have a Nintendo Switch on power. If there was any doubt that power could fit in a small form factor, Steam Deck just rolled through and said, hey, look at me. Okay, so if there was any doubt that we can have a console that could also be docked but also handheld and still have at least a PS4 performance, in dock in handheld mode, then Steam Deck proved them wrong. So I'm expecting Nintendo to at least, don't want it too off. If you want to add a brand new feature, okay, a brand new gimmick feature, like they call it, like the every console has their little gimmick feature. If you want to add that brand new gimmick feature, go ahead and add it. Don't wander too far off because you don't want to fall off a cliff and do a Wii U, you know, error mistake. The Nintendo Switch is it's a wonderful console, and I wouldn't be against it if they just went again with the Switch brand and then just called it the Switch whatever Ultra or Switch Pro or Switch whatever. But don't wander too off. It is time for Nintendo to release the next console. Yeah, I was also going through the history of how long did Nintendo wait before the next console, and the majority was 5 years, the longest was 6, and Nintendo cannot wait. They can't go past 6 because yeah, I'm with you, Nate. The cliff, I can see the cliff. I can already see it. We can already see that cliff, and they're gonna fall hard if they don't really, get on top of this now. I think now, believe it or not, after they already said, okay, you can show they're desperate with selling these consoles. Maybe they have consoles sitting in a warehouse a lot. They're trying to make them editions, and if you look at it, it's just a Switch OLED, the white version, that they're just putting more paint on it. Because that's basically what we have here with the Switch Splatoon version, the white version with some paint on it, and then different Joy-Cons. The Pokemon one, it's the white version, paint on it, different Joy-Cons. And they have these Joy-Cons. They have a lot of Joy-Cons. They have the Joy-Cons to put paint on, and then combine with this white Switch, and just made another edition. That's their way of saying we want to get rid of the stock that we have because we have too many, or we made too many. But Nintendo just needs to, hopefully now, I'm hoping that at least with Tears of the Kingdom, Tears of the Kingdom. I know that they said that not this fiscal year, it ends in March 2023. I'm hoping. Oh, actually, doesn't Tears of the Kingdom come in May? That's the next fiscal year.
May 12th. Right? May 12th. Yes.
So that's the next fiscal year. That actually makes it even more of a better release time for the next gen Switch, along with that next Zelda game, because it's not this fiscal year in March. It's actually the next one. So, I mean, it's time. I think Nintendo's gonna do it. I hope they are, and it's time, man. It's time. I don't want to see this company go down. Go down, and I mean, Nintendo's. They're not going anywhere. I'm just saying that I hope that he follows through with those comments, because we really do need a stronger Switch. I mean, I think that people will be happy with a stronger Switch.
Yeah. So I see, the arguments I've seen against my video today are mostly, I recently got a Switch, or I have a huge backlog, I got a lot of stuff to play, and that's all fine. None of that's not a reason to bring out a system, because the reason is it's a numbers game. This isn't about whether you think the Switch needs more performance or not, and there's plenty of people who think it does. This isn't about whether or not I personally want them to release a new one. This is just looking at the numbers and going, hey, Nintendo just had 100 million plus generation. They want every generation to be 100 million plus. So what's the best route to get there? And the best route, especially if they're releasing a second platform that's like Switch, the best route is to take advantage of the current market. And you can't take advantage of that market if it no longer exists by the time you release it. And I know people might go, but like if we wait till 2025, there definitely would still there'd be like 150 million Switches out there. Yes, and how many of them would still be actively being used and played? That's what matters. How many active consumers you have. If your active consumer base is only 10 million by then, guess what? There's your audience for your next platform. Because everyone else moved on to something else.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's why, like, I feel like, hey, if Nintendo is going to use the PlayStation, the PlayStation game, the PlayStation way of doing things, yeah, next year's it. You drop it next year, whether you drop it with Zelda, whether you drop it at the end of the year for the holidays, so you want to wait for that, and you have a big Mario game you want to launch with it, and then you can advertise, oh, by the way, this year's Game of the Year Zelda game is upgraded on here in 4K or whatever they want to do to help market it. Maybe they even package it together with a bundle. I have no idea for the holidays. That would be crazy. But
You got the words right out of my mouth, man. Because I was like, that is the perfect way to transition to another console, and it's basically letting these 100 million users know they won't lose if they upgrade their Switches. Their games are backward compatible.
Yep.
They can log into the brand new one and keep playing the games, but with an added benefit, an added something. Okay, you played Mario Odyssey? Guess what? Play it on the brand new whatever system, but with this DLC added to it. Something that only the brand new console can do. You know?
or like,
And that
hey, with DLSS, you can now see it in crispy 4K on your television because DLSS doesn't need you to up the native resolution of the game. That's not what DLSS does. They could take any game
yeah.
and do it. That's a really good selling point.
Okay.
And full backwards compatibility. Your cartridges just work. You could transfer all your save files thanks to the cloud transfer system.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they have it in place. They have it in place.
It's set up. A smooth transition. Get everyone over. Full backwards compatibility. All games probably coming out for the first year of the platform. Might still be cross-platform with the old Switch. So you give those people time to contemplate, time for obviously Nintendo to get enough units on shelves because probably sold out at launch. And you just go from there. And again, I don't know if they'll call it a Pro. It could be a Pro, or wouldn't call it a Pro, a new Nintendo Switch or whatever they call it. If they're going to call it, if they're going to keep it in the same family of systems, fine, that's Nintendo's choice. If it's going to be a brand new generation, it really doesn't matter as long as it's more powerful.
Yeah.
And it's powerful enough that people care.
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be a Tegra X1 that is just running at stock, basically. It's going to have to be more. There's a few common things in the chat I found a little funny during the live version here, and that's like someone mentioned, like, oh, it's like 15 years behind in tech. It's not 15 years behind in tech, guys. 15 years ago, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Wii were the current systems 15 years ago. Yeah. Switch is way more powerful than that generation. It's using architecture that's current as of 2015. So let's set that aside a little bit there. If you want to argue it's still behind the PS4 in power, that's fine. But I mean, we're talking about a decade, not 15. And even then, it was still using more modern architecture. It's a handheld. What are you gonna do? It's the most powerful handheld in the world at the time it came out. Yes, we know there's Steam Deck and other options out there at this time, but nothing that's touching the sales of Switch. So I saw someone else mention, like, oh, should Nintendo worry about Steam Deck now that you can just readily buy one and they ship it right away? It's no longer a wait list, guys. You can go on to Valve's website right now and buy a Steam Deck. They'll ship it, I don't know, maybe not same day, but the next day. And you'll have it, within the same week. You can order on Monday and have it by Friday. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that's the case. Let me know when it's in retail, and then I'll tell you it's a problem for Nintendo. Until it's right now, it's one place to buy it. It's not my children. Do children know what a Steam Deck is? It's a serious question. Do any of you have children, and do they know what a Steam Deck is? If the answer is no, then it's not a threat to Nintendo. Do your parents know what a Steam Deck is? If the answer is no, then it's not a threat to Nintendo. The people who know what a Steam Deck is are the people that wanted a Steam Deck in the first place.
Yeah, gamers, like real gamers,
like the hardcore, the PC gamers, the ones that always wanted a PC game, but they don't like mouse and keyboard. They want something that's more simplified. Those that want their third-party games on Switch, but they want them in better resolution, better frame rates. Those are the kind of people it appeals to. But the whole of the Switch's general audience ain't concerned. Nintendo ain't worried about no Steam Deck. It ain't even considered a competitor. The sales numbers it does, its best selling month ever, at least according to the units they have shipped, literally is less than a week worth of sales for Nintendo. You're talking numbers that are so paltry. Nintendo laughs at the idea that Steam Deck is even considered a competitor by some. They laugh.
It's still.
Let me put it this way. It's selling less than the damn Wii U did. The Wii U was selling bigger numbers in its first year than Steam Deck. And Wii U was a failure for Nintendo. It ain't even in Nintendo's thought process. They don't care. They're using AMD technology. The thing's big and bulky. Nintendo looks at that and goes, oh, so they made a powerful Fisher Price. Well, we're going to come out with something that's almost on par, much sleeker, much sexier, and it's going to blow up in the market because we're going to have it in retail day one.
Yeah.
They're not worried about it. And they have the IP to back it up.
What we can take away from this is that Nintendo is first thing, there's no comparison between the Steam Deck and Nintendo, or even Steam, Valve and Nintendo. They're Nintendo's a huge giant skyscraper of a company, and then we have this little building on the side, like very low down, which is Valve, the company who makes Steam Deck. So there's no comparison there at all. You can argue that Steam Deck is I would say, what's the word? It's still in that beta. It's like a beta console. It's not really a full-fledged brand name console that everybody knows, and but it has the potential to be, so you can't really take away too much about with Steam Deck. Nintendo's just a massive of a company. They've been around since the 80s. I mean, they're since before the 80s, 70s with the cards. But what you can say from this is that Nintendo is a trendsetter, because we've had handheld consoles before, but it's not until Nintendo's released the Switch that we started seeing what this type of handheld console can do. PlayStation tried it with the Vita. They tried it. They sold their amount or whatever, but then they completely got rid of it because it wasn't really selling for them that much. They hadn't figured out the formula. Nintendo comes up with the Switch. 100 million. There's no arguing that. But then now we have the Steam Deck. Now we have the Neo. Now we have a whole bunch of other companies who are basically making their own versions of the handheld console that look almost identical, at like the Switch do in handheld mode. So you can call Nintendo there a trendsetter, and it's a good thing, because competition, it's good. It's good for us. If we see some company rise up because they were inspired by the Nintendo Switch in the handheld mode and create an amazing beast of a console, then we got to applaud them, and we got to say, hey, good job. Hopefully that is successful. Just know you're not competing with this one. You're rising up, getting on your thing, do your thing. But Nintendo is always going to be Nintendo. The Switch is always going to be Switch, and then everybody else is always going to follow the trend. I know about trend setting and about following trends because I'm not gonna say I work for the first trendsetter in the world, but I gotta say, I do. Anyway, but basically that's what it is. Nintendo is being a trendsetter when it comes to the handheld market, and Steam Deck, Neo. There's another one. I keep forgetting the other console, but they all have Switch to thank for, because Nintendo just busted the door open and created a new market with powerful handheld consoles. Even though Switch right now is not greatly powerful, but it is a powerful for what it is, and it's done what it's done. I love the Switch, and I think it was a trend-setting console, and I hope that Nintendo's next gen is a trend-setting console. And Yulia said, "Time to move on," and I really do agree with that, because it's time to move on to the next gen. It is time.
And I also think there are some people that know that, okay, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out, and I know some people are kind of paused on their excitement for it because, again, we haven't seen a lot of it. We're kind of waiting for the big advertising campaign to start. But if the advertising campaign starts and the hype levels start to grow really ridiculous, Nintendo doesn't want to also release that, and it's just, it's on a platform that hey, we're not releasing a new one till 2024, 2025. So we're just going to send this thing out to die for the last 2 years. Oh, it'll sell really well, but then we lose all the evergreen sales. No, you can either release it with a new platform or release it the same year of a new platform where it gets a second release.
Yeah.
On a more powerful system, or an updated release. Like it's an interesting situation because it's going to probably be Nintendo's most expensive game they've ever made, because Breath of the Wild they stated was their most expensive game ever made, and they've spent even longer making this one. So they're not going to send that out to die, or I shouldn't say die, because the sales are still going to be incredible. If they keep Switch going, it's still going to be incredible. But it's not going to be able to have that 5 years of evergreen sales Breath of the Wild got, unless there's something new coming out. If the new thing's not coming for a couple of years, then you're just going to kill the sales there. Oh, backwards compatibility won't matter, because they're not going to be advertising that as a selling point for the new platform at that point. 2 years later, they'll be advertising whatever's coming next. Yeah, absolutely. You have to consider that as well. They made the mistake with Skyward Sword, which again, it's not going to sell Skyward Sword numbers. I can tell you that already. But they released Skyward Sword towards the end as well. And they basically sent it to die. And relative to what Tears of the Kingdom could sell, if they don't get something out sooner rather than later, they are sending it out to not be as successful as it could be. It could be another 20 million seller. If it's timed right, with the right hardware, either right around the corner or right around the same time that it comes out. And Nintendo's not dumb. I think they know that. There's also some thoughts out there that, hey, you know what? They haven't really shown us a lot of this game. Why is it? Maybe it's because they want to show it off with the new hardware.
That's true.
So they're just doing little teases until they announce the hardware, and then they could show you, boom, everything we're going to show you is the best of the best. We're showing you what it looks like on the new stuff. You've already seen everything we showed you so far. That was on the old Switch. Here's the new. And it'll be on both. That's kind of what by the way, this is just a theory. A lot of people have theorized, by the way, this isn't a unique one. The new hardware will launch with Zelda or around Zelda. And I think that makes sense too. I don't know that that's going to be the case. Again, I argued they could wait till holiday and launch it with a Mario, or even a Mario Kart. If they want to do that. Mario Kart's so huge, they definitely could use that for a holiday launch.
No Mario Kart.
But they have DLC running through next holiday, so I don't think Mario Kart would be there. At least not at launch. If they launch it holiday.
Can you imagine next gen? Oh, hey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still alive. Let's keep talking.
Well, they're going to have DLC coming out for it still next winter. That's why I'm like, I kind of think Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever they call the next one. I'm sure, guys, that's already being worked on and will probably come out. If the platform comes out holiday next year, I'd say it would even if it doesn't, let's say it comes out around Zelda, they're still going to run that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. It'll be fully backwards compatible. People will play it on the new one. They'll release that new Mario Kart, I think, spring of 2024. 2024.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's our big game to start off our first full year of Switch. So our first full calendar year. But we'll see. I also saw some comments in the chat that apparently I need a beer. I told you guys things might be a little weird. All right, I'm not going to deny I could probably use a vein of it right now. Just hook up the vodka IV right into the. Let's get tapped right here, right into the old arm. Yeah,
but I agree with the Zelda theory about the the sales, because right now if you release the Nintendo Switch, I'm not gonna call it Switch. I want to see a new name. I want to be excited about a new name. I think they gotta
like if they're gonna keep the momentum, it's still gonna be Switch, kind of like a PlayStation, still a PlayStation.
Call it the Swatch, then not the Switch, because just give me something new. Anyway, if they're gonna release
new
Zelda
Nintendo Switch,
the what?
It'll just be the new Nintendo Switch. You already know the name.
Just call it the Nintendo Swatch. Give me something Swatch.
But let me people think it's a watch.
Also a clock.
Yeah,
it's also
there's probably a smartwatch called the Swatch somewhere. In fact, I'm gonna look it up right now. I bet you it exists. Someone thought of that name. And the gimmick Swatch is totally Swatch is a brand. It's a watch brand.
It is.
Yes.
That sucks. Now.
Swatch.com.
Anyway, that would have been good. I could have been making money there with the marketing company. But anyway, if they would, you're right. If they release the Nintendo Switch, hopefully with the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and then the old Nintendo Switch, they will kind of give the game a better push, because for those of us who are interested in the next gen, that will push us to buy the next gen. So it'll actually push the next gen console for sales. And for those who want to buy it on the current gen, it'll also push the current gen sales and when it comes to the actual game. So I mean, that's the best scenario, that we get Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, along with that console. That way, it helps sales for that console. It helps sales for the game, and Nintendo wins at the end.
That's always the hope. By the way, guys, if you're really enjoying the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you guys would go ahead and drop those likes. That'd be great.
We got
only 37 likes with 100 people watching. Let's drop those likes, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. So one thing, obviously, we always can count on, or at least seemingly at this point can count on, is that there's going to be new games coming from Nintendo and Nintendo's partner companies. And one of those new games comes out this week, Bayonetta 3. And in case you guys didn't know, there's been a little bit of a controversy around the game that seems, at this point, entirely self-created and really isn't about the game at all.
I have to thank her, though. I have to really thank her
for the free marketing.
If you're watching this video, if you're watching this video, I would not have been so much into Bayonetta like I am now. Like, seriously, before this whole entire fiasco thing happened, I'm like, I'm not just too interested in it, because I'm more like a Zelda, Mario, Kirby, Mario Kart, whatever, main. But because of this entire fiasco, I started looking more to Bayonetta, and just because I wanted to hear the new voice, which, by the way, fantastic. He sounds great. What's her name?
Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale.
I was gonna say Taylor. That's Peach. That's the old Peach. Yeah, she sounds fantastic. She sounds amazing. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get Bayonetta 3. Thank you, Helen something Baker.
Helena Taylor. Well, for when I look at her name, it's like Helena Taylor, but she pronounces it Helena. So I'm gonna give her credit that she knows how to pronounce her own name. So Helena Taylor.
Thank you, Helena Taylor.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this, guys. By the time we're done with this topic, I want all of us, whether you're listening to the audio version at home, whisper it to yourself, or if you're here in the chat, all of us are going to say a big thank you to Helena Taylor for convincing all of us to buy this game. This is the best
marketing strategy I've ever seen. I'm like not convinced.
They probably should write her a check now. They probably should.
Because
they won't on principle. But they won't on principle, but they probably should. So I'm going to give a little Cliff Note version of everything to date, and then we'll get into the new stuff that happened this week, because I don't even know what else there is. I thought we were already done with this, and then stuff keeps happening. Maybe more stuff will keep happening. I don't know, but here's the fun thing about this topic. It keeps pushing sales of the game, and I love that. So you know what? You might be tired of this topic. Keep it alive, everyone. Let's make Bayonetta 3 hit 4 million in sales, man. Let's just keep this topic going, because it's great.
Dude, why stop there? How about the Bayonetta the movie with the Nintendo film company?
There you go. Let's keep it going. So here's what happened. The original voice actor that voiced Bayonetta in a little bit animated series and 2 games, Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, Helena Taylor, came out a couple weekends ago and posted 3 videos to her Twitter account. In these videos, she accused them of offering her what she calls insulting low pay. The initial offer was insulting, the follow-up offers were insulting, and the final offer, she said, was for $4,000 for the entire game, which again, she almost cried at the point of saying that and made people really believe it was insulting. She went on in her other videos, which you're going to find out in a moment, that it just makes her look even worse, because she started comparing her real world situation that she didn't know where her next meal was going to come to nurses during the pandemic, who definitely, by the way, shouldn't have had to worry about where their next meal was coming from, because nurses didn't get off. They had to keep working.
Keep in mind throughout all this, she is an actress.
Yes. Yes. So
keep in mind.
So she said, I don't know where my next meal is coming from, which, by the way, if I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, you pretty much just take any money you can get at that point. When you're actually that desperate, You're desperate. A paid gig's a paid gig. That'll take care of your meals, but whatever. So
where her next filet mignon is coming from.
So she made these ridiculous comparisons to people during the pandemic having to go to food pantries. By the way, if you're at the point that you need to go to a food pantry for help, there's nothing wrong with that. She painted it like it was this big evil thing that, oh, isn't this so sad? That's what they exist for. People who need it, it's there. I've supported my family off food pantries before. There's nothing embarrassing about that. If you feel embarrassed about that, that's a you problem. So if nurses busting ass but not getting higher pay, having to support their families, not being able to have enough money for groceries because prices of everything were rising up, and they had to go to food pantries to support their family, okay, good. I'm glad they could support their families off of food pantries. That's why we have them, for the people that need them. I don't know, really. That whole thing was just stupid. And then she said that Jennifer Hale, the new voice of Bayonetta, because she was hired instead of her, can't sign autographs as Bayonetta because she's not the voice of Bayonetta. That's her voice. She owns Bayonetta. And then she went into just some other things. Don't really want to get into that. Moving on then, Kamiya came out on Twitter because Kamiya doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut and called her a liar and made what kind of looked like a veiled threat, and it got his account temporarily suspended. He obviously was not happy that this was happening to arguably one of the biggest games Platinum has had come out in a while, because their last game bombed bad. So like, they need this game to do well for them, not just Nintendo. They need this to do well. Because Platinum Games has only got $10 million in capital, according to their official website. They don't have a lot of money. They can't absorb failure after failure after failure. This is why they have other companies like Nintendo pay them to make games, because they can't take on the risk. And they did it for one game. That one game nearly bankrupted the company. They almost bankrupted the company on the one game they tried to self-publish. So this is, Platinum's not sitting there rolling in the dough in the first place. Their CEO isn't making millions. Anyways, one of the things should make a claim was that the franchise had made $450 million just off game sales, which I think Platinum would have more than $10 million in the bank if that was the case. But you know what? What do I know? It is what it is. I also think Sega would have renewed it for a second game and not left it to dry, and no one else wanted to pick it up. Like, it sat there for years until Nintendo finally said, hey, well, I guess pay for one, let's see what happens. And then obviously Wii U wasn't a really good platform to try it on, so they're trying again. And if this one bombs, which at this point I highly doubt that's going to happen, thanks, Helena Taylor. But yeah, I would think Nintendo would probably stop funding it too, because if they can't sell a game on this platform, on this Switch, well then, yeah, they clearly, the franchise just isn't big enough and they got to let it go. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure after this whole fiasco, Bayonetta 4 is now guaranteed. That being said, so he called her a liar. Then Jason Schreier came out with a report at Bloomberg. Jason Schreier, for those who don't know, is a video game journalist. He's worked at Kotaku and several other outlets. He's known as one of the best investigative journalists in all of video games. You might not like his politics. You might not like the things he believes in and what he stands for. But when it comes to his actual job of reporting and investigating on games, he's second to none. There's very few actual video game investigative journalists that even exist. And he's one of the good ones. And he's been going after corporations for years, bringing up documents, calling them out, getting them sometimes even in legal trouble. He had two sources and a document in his article that apparently was one of the contract offers. And he detailed that, where it said, oh, you were actually offered $15,000, not $4,000 for the role. That $4,000 offer was actually the final offer, and that was just for a cameo, which meant one session, only a handful of lines, or whatever it is, not enough that goes past one session. And that when they were negotiating with you, you asked for six figures. That's basically where the negotiation stopped. And she wanted residuals as well. And that's kind of the crux of that. Now, in that article, they did reach out to, because I told you, he's really damn good at his job. He doesn't just release articles without asking for comment. So he reached out to Helena Taylor before it was published and asked what she thought, or if she had anything to say on it. And she said, they're lying. Platinum is liars. They only care about selling copies of their games. And yeah, I'm done with this Bayonetta character. I'm going to go back to my work in the theater, which is where we found out that's actually her full-time job, because it's the first time she's mentioned anything, even on her profile on Twitter, that she is an actress or whatever in the theater, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. You don't make a lot of money doing it, usually at the local theaters. But hey, makes enough to make a living. That's cool. Good for her. I love theater work. I go to theater work. I performed in theaters. I've done musicals. I've done plays. I've played in bands that have been supporting this stuff when you have live music at these venues and at these musicals and stuff. So I get it. Okay. I love that stuff. And I thought that's where the story was going to end. She's calling him a liar. Jason Schreier claims he has proof. And you just kind of decide which way to go. I was leaning towards Jason's side because he actually had evidence and extra sources, and then other journalists were backing him up. And Helena Taylor only had herself. But then I always said, hey, if she ever had a response, she could bring the receipts. She already broke NDA. Now NDA apparently has been broken the other way. So just bring the receipts. If everything you said is true, just drop the receipts and it's over. It's over. Done deal. Then you win. Well, she came back on Monday. And in a series of, I don't even know, a dozen tweets, detailed out the offers and provided all the context people wanted. How much were you paid for the prior game? So we even know if these are bad offers. We know that, at least according to her. And what she detailed was that the initial offer was for $10,000 for the entire game. Now, you might go, well, that's below what Jason said. You're correct. It is. She didn't like that $10,000 offer. So she reached out to Kamiya. Got a friend, knows Japanese, reached out to Kamiya. Kamiya told her, hey, we really do value you as part of this game. Let's increase the offer by $5,000. So now the offer is $15,000 for the entire game, which is what the article, she said, was a lie, literally quoted, was $15,000. At least $15,000, I think was the wording. Okay. So that part of the article, check. That's true. Then she details the final offer, which she said, well, negotiations broke down. It wasn't extensive. I'm sure it wasn't after you responded and asked for six figures. I'm pretty sure Platinum just shut the door at that point, but whatever. 11 months goes by, she says, and then they reach back out to me and they go, hey, we want to offer you $4,000 for one session to record some lines. What did the article say again? The final offer was $4,000 for one session for a cameo. Check. Article correct yet again. So I'm trying to see where the lies are here. Then she brings up the six-figure remark, but brings it up in the most ridiculous ways because six figures is bare minimum $100,000. She decides, no, let's make this sound like everyone's being ridiculous. Some people are claiming I asked for $250,000. That's ridiculous and an utter lie. Well, yeah, that would be a lie. I don't know a single person, journalist, or anyone besides maybe some boneheads on Twitter that were saying you ever asked for $250,000. Are you actually going to address that people were thinking you asked for at least $100K? No, you're going to jump to double to 2.5 times that, which nobody realistically thought you asked for $250,000. That wasn't even something anyone was even contemplating. They all figured you asked anywhere from 100 to 150. That was kind of where people were ballparking it because six figures, okay. But we didn't know for sure because the details weren't in the thing because they were never down in writing, right? It was part of the negotiation phase. So there wasn't like a document Jason Schreier could look at and go, oh, here's what you countered with, because that's not how that went. Okay, so she says that. Then she goes on to talk about how she hasn't lied about anything. And I showed in my video, her exact words were $4,000 for the entire game, not some lines. She also then details what she was paid for the first and second game. The first game she was paid £3,000 for the entire game, which is at the time roughly $4,000 US. Then she said for the second game, she was paid a little bit more. So I don't know what's a little bit more. Another 1,000? I don't really know what that means by her standards. So let's just say it's 1,000. So she made 5,000 US probably for the second game. And by the way, the second game bombed. It was not a success. Doesn't help that it released on Wii U, but it wasn't a success. So this time around, after the second game bombed, they offer her double what she ever made with the prior games. And then after she went to Hideki Kamiya, they upped it to triple what you've ever made on the prior games. Keep in mind, this whole time she's been arguing, she's doing this to fight for better pay for all voice actors while insulting a fellow voice actor along the way who's one of the best. And clearly thought the offer was fine enough that she'd accept it when she's got offers around the block. So she doesn't just take any offer. She takes the good ones. She's got leverage like that. Helena Taylor has no leverage because she hasn't been doing voice acting of anything in a decade except Bayonetta. And the whole time she's talking about livable wage and all this stuff. And people are like doing all this math. Oh, the money per hour. Fine. Don't look at it as money per hour. Fine. Don't look at it. Look at it as no voice actor in the world considers 5 sessions at 4 hours each to be full-time. I literally emailed 3 different voice actors on this. All 3 of them said, as much as we sometimes agree that there's underpaying, 5 sessions isn't a year's worth of salary. Who thinks that's a year's worth of salary? Like, dude, I do that every week. What? If I can get a year's worth of salary for just 5 sessions, then I'm doing something wrong here. And the only voice actors, by the way, that would get that sort of money aren't actually voice actors. They're normal actors that are popular in other mediums, other forms of acting. And yes, they're being paid because their name being attached to the project helps sell. Chris Pratt, as an example, probably got at least $1 million for the job on Mario, maybe more. Because his name being attached, they think will get more people to show up at the movie theater. That's an advertising thing, not necessarily because they think it'd be the best voice. They could use actual voice actors that do it for a living, and some voice actors get mad that they don't, but they also understand it's a numbers game. You're investing all this money into making a movie, into the animation. You're going to want it to do certain numbers at the theater. Getting big name people that people know is going to help drive that. But this all culminated basically into her outing herself as lying on multiple occasions, her calling Platinum Games and that article a lie. Well, everything that you said just confirmed, check the entire article. So the article didn't lie, and Platinum Games didn't lie, and you just confirmed it, and yet you're still saying they're a liar, and you need to defend your honor and defend your reputation. And you really just put your entire reputation up in smoke double time. And nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought she would give the sort of details that would just admit, like, she's so, I don't want to call her delusional because I don't know her. But something isn't logically lining up in the way she's explaining things. And I've said it this whole time. I think it all comes from emotions and her overvaluing what voice acting work on a failed franchise, because that's what this is, actually is worth. And now, thanks to this whole controversy, she's driven more attention to this game than ever. And Bayonetta 3 is flying off shelves. It's sold out at a bunch of retailers right now before it's even come out. A lot of retailers don't even have physical copies to even pre-order anymore. They are sold out. This is doing bigger numbers right now in pre-orders, I think, than any prior Bayonetta, and that's insane. You used to be able to, anytime you want, go get the special edition pre-ordered anywhere. They weren't even selling out of the special edition. It's been sold out for over a week. This is insane. Mike, what are your thoughts? Because like this is not where I thought this story would. Hopefully this is the end. Like, I didn't think it would. Well, I kind of don't want it to be the end. Bayonetta, let's go. Like, thank you, Helena Taylor. Because of you, I'm now buying 5 copies of the game when I was only contemplating 1. Now we're gonna have a pile of them here, and I might have to hand out a few to some of you guys that have a hard time getting it.
Bayonetta party.
Bayonetta
I want to
party.
see a movie now. I want to see a movie because I didn't know much about the Bayonetta character. And then when I found out the actual storyline, because of this situation of Bayonetta 3, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm actually into this. I'm actually into this, you know? But about the whole, the whole Helena,
Helena, I know. I have a hard. I've been pronouncing it wrong for a week, so that's whatever.
Taylor? Is it Tyler?
By the way, I mean no insult to you, Helena Taylor. I hope that the rest of your life goes well, and I'm sure you're a really nice lady in person and a good friend and mother and whatever else you have going on. And I don't want you guys really attacking her. She's obviously already gotten tons of internet hate because that's what's going to happen when you lie to the internet and you ask the internet to boycott something that doesn't deserve to be boycotted.
Yeah, you don't have to really do much about that anymore.
Yeah. But I just don't add to that. Like, kind of leave her alone. Let's live in our own bubble, talk about it. Let's not go to her.
I mean, what I'm Yeah, I'm just happy about the game getting so much promotion. Basically, I'm like, okay, I'm just already over the entire thing. She came back on Monday and said this and that, but I'm just once you already gone and once you already made peace with whatever. But I think is that she found out that after that the game was doing so well, it made her even more upset. And the fact that people were even opening their eyes and their hearts more to the game and to the actual actor, Jen
Jennifer
Hale,
Hale. Yep. Yep.
right? So it just got to her because I maybe in her head she was thinking, okay, my Bayonettas are gonna stick up for me. This game is not gonna do well, and then they're gonna want me back so that the game is gonna do well. But then she saw that nope, that's not reality. The reality is that what you did backfired. The game is doing better than ever. Jen Hale is getting praise for her performance in Bayonetta. The storyline and how the developers or the story writers came up with a way to explain the change of voice and the story itself is really really good.
We're gonna stay away from
And
spoilers, guys. But yes, the voice change is explained in the game, which is it's brilliant. If you read the reviews, some of the reviews go over it and have explained like the story can be a mess sometimes because Bayonetta's story can always be a bit of a mess. But how they handled the voice change was just it was like a masterclass.
and that's basically what is driving me to play it. I don't know. I'm not gonna give you guys any spoilers, but the way they handle the game is actually trending heavily. We are amongst it when it comes to the entertainment world, and if you play this game, you're gonna find out what it is. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just happy for the game. I'm happy for the game. I'm ready to move on from this voice actress in particular or
This situation.
or stage
Yeah.
actress or whatever. I'm ready to give praise to Jen Tail for her performance and to continue praising other voice actors for their amazing work. um I don't think she's a voice act. The Helena is an actual voice actress because if not, she would have had jobs in
Yeah,
Bayonetta's.
she had a couple roles before Bayonetta. She's been doing some sort of acting work since like 2003.
Yeah.
But they're always like
Voice acting?
really. They were so she's done some other acting and voice acting roles before Bayonetta, but they were very sparse, very few in between. And then after Bayonetta, never did anything. Clearly wasn't trending towards success in that field. Anyways,
Yeah, but it's it's Jen Hale's time. It's Bayonetta's time. It is Bayonetta's time because if the first game and the second game didn't do as well, this one's gonna be great. The reviews are really good. The story is really good. I think this is the beginning for Bayonetta, and I think that we're
89
gonna
on
have
Metacritic, guys.
yeah, and I think that from now on, this is gonna be a bit. Bayonetta is gonna have a good future. And I feel some things coming out of this as well. So I'm excited for the franchise. I'm excited for the franchise. I'm excited for everybody who's playing it. And yeah, I really want to see I want to see Bayonetta the movie with whatever they're doing in this third installment of the game because it'll be super awesome. It'll be awesome.
Yeah,
I like sci-fi, guys. If you want to know something about me, I love sci-fi. Anything that's futuristic, anything that takes you out of reality what we're living in, puts you in a different world, whatever, alternate or whatever. I'm not gonna say much because I might give it out. But I love sci-fi. I really do love sci-fi. So yeah, I'm a sci-fi geek.
As I said at the end of this topic, on behalf of all Bayonetta fans, on behalf of Platinum Games and Nintendo, on behalf of myself as a YouTuber, who I'm not gonna lie, I made a little bit of coin off of this. Thank you, Helena Taylor.
Gracias.
Thank you. I appreciate the attention you brought to a game that desperately needed it.
Wait, is merci? Merci?
I have no idea. You're not.
Wait. We means yes. We means yes.
Yes, we.
Can somebody in the chat? Wait, that's Italian. Never mind. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
What are you doing? I mean, it's French too. There's some French in it.
You know
I
what,
don't know.
Mike? I think you need a little bit of a break, buddy. You need to step away from the mic and chill.
I need to get some gamer steps. Hold up. Where's my gamer steps? You see my gamer steps? See it? Gamer steps. They're great.
Yeah, they won't respond to my email, so I'm not going to say anything about them. I've been waiting. I have a meeting with a different drink company, but yeah, well, it'd be nice if they responded because I tried their product the other day. It's not half bad.
It's good, right?
That's all I'm going to say,
Pretty
though.
good.
I'm only going to say it's not half bad because I'll probably end up with a completely different company. So I don't want to give it too much praise because they're not responding to me. So I don't know. Mike's over there got all the hookups. I got Liquid IV around here somewhere that I make absolutely nothing off of. Hence why
I like the cup, dude.
I'm drinking
Love
Diet
the
Dr.
cup.
Pepper. They don't pay me either. I just like it.
Dr. Pepper. They should. They should.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the podcast. It was going to be a short one because we started a little later. Plus, there's only two of us. Obviously, we'll have some more topics next week. Maybe we'll have some positive topics to talk about Bayonetta after it comes out. Maybe some hands-on experience with it. We'll also have whatever. I have no idea. We'll probably talk about Pokemon because that's upcoming as well. Maybe some Halloween shenanigans because it is Halloween next week, Monday. The podcast is technically on Wednesday. Doesn't mean I might not theme the set for a special Halloween post edition.
Hey, when's the next podcast and when is Halloween?
It's November 2nd.
November 2nd. So it's past Halloween.
Yeah, it's past Halloween. Yeah. I was gonna do a theme. Well, there was gonna be a big Halloween theme this week on the show, but then Eric's like, I'm not gonna be here. So then I'm like, well, then you can't see the set, guys. So that.
If it would have fallen before, then we could have maybe just dressed up for the podcast.
I'm gonna be dressed up on the next podcast, anyways.
On the second of
There might be
of
multiple costume changes.
I'm gonna be wearing a Santa hat and a Santa.
I mean, no one says you can't dress as Santa for Halloween.
My tree is going up on October 31st. I'm gonna put my tree. I'm gonna put my lights outside. I'm gonna put my big giant balloon.
You're one of those people that has to decorate for Christmas 2 months early. Oh.
I love it, man.
I love Christmas too. But can we get past Turkey Day? Like we still have another holiday in between.
Dude, a turkey cannot go without a tree next to it. A turkey cannot go without a tree next to it. So look, I'm Hispanic. The Hispanic can have Christmas like all year, but the thing is that after Christmas ends, it takes us forever to get rid of the tree. Like you'll see Valentine's Day come around. You'll see Easter come around. We have that tree there still up. And then my wife was like, "Hey, how about we do a Valentine's Day tree?" I'm like, "No, let's just take the tree down. Stop being so lazy." And like, "No, how about we have an Easter tree?" No, take the tree down. Stop being lazy. But yeah. I mean, people, at least in Puerto Rico, we're crazy with Christmas, and crazy with Christmas. Get it? And then we have a tree up. So October 31st.
You're not as bad as my mom. Okay, she's already been decorating her house with Christmas stuff since 2 weeks ago. So, I'm like, but mom, you have like this entire Halloween village that my dad has that you should be setting up and stuff. No, straight to Christmas. So when trick or treaters show up at your house,
it's Christmas. It's fun. I like the lights.
You got the nativity set out already. They got this giant light up nativity set they put outside, and I'm like, guys, it's Halloween. Are the nativity set getting eaten by zombies or something? I'm kind of confused. That might be a little sacrilege. We might want to wait a little bit before you put that up. But hey, you know what? You guys do whatever you want to do. Everyone does things differently, but yeah, I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday of the year. So I wasn't going to go a podcast without dressing up, even if it's a couple days late. I really don't care, man. Just wait. Just wait.
My holiday is better. Christmas is my favorite, and it's better because you get gifts, and you get to dress up, and you get gifts, and you have a treat.
Dude, I get candy.
So I get candy too. Candy canes, candy. I got hot cocoa. We get sugar. We get the sugar too. We get the sugar. We get the tree. We got the presents. We got the lights, dude.
But I don't get my pumpkin spice anymore.
No.
It goes away. Like my favorite shake is pumpkin spice.
Dude,
and
eggnog,
it vanishes.
Eggnog.
It vanishes like after Halloween. Like Culver's does this amazing pumpkin shake with their custard, and it goes away after Halloween. And I'm like, Excuse me, we still have another pumpkin pie event coming up in Thanksgiving. Right. Why are you getting rid of it after Halloween?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like when they get rid of the pumpkin so fast. I'm like, hey, it's a fall
I get
thing.
You got to move into some gingerbread or something eventually, but it ain't Christmas yet.
Yeah, but
at least let me get through Thanksgiving.
Me, I'm already listening to Christmas songs. I'm like, I'm whistling literally Christmas tunes, like daily.
Nah, not me. I'm still. This is Thriller.
the Thriller.
Did I?
From Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I got the Halloween.
With the.
I wake up to Halloween alarms, man. It's 6:30. Yuli's like, "Why is your phone playing Halloween music?" Baby, don't you know what holiday's coming up? You know what holiday's coming? Here's the problem. I don't want to get out of bed when I hear it. I want to dance in bed. Woo.
Hey, man.
Anyways,
I mean,
this is Halloween. This is Halloween. Halloween. That's a good movie. See, what's really cool about that movie is it's a Christmas and Halloween movie. It's both.
You're gonna get copywritten. You're gonna get copywritten, and they're gonna tell you that you deceiving and scamful.
I knew you were gonna bring that. I was wondering how you're gonna slip that in.
So be careful. Be careful. No, don't be singing stuff or showing anything that you're not supposed to, because they're gonna call you a scammer. They're gonna hunt you down. They're gonna hunt you down. You want Halloween? You want a Halloween? Try to.
Yeah. Well, you were targeted by somebody, obviously. For those, he's referencing a stream he did. You did have some copyrighted content in the stream. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it's arguable that it should have been struck, but it should not have been struck for what it was struck for. And when they manually reviewed it, and
it was copyright. It was copyright.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, but they should have said copyright notice. You shouldn't like a song when they put a song up.
Yeah, no, was it there visually?
Footage.
It's completely different because it's a copyrighted TV show. You can't. Like, I accidentally had House one time pop on my screen because I was watching it and I accidentally hit play. I was like, what the heck? And I hit a button and it showed on screen. I got a strike for that. That was one of my like, they're very shows, audio and visual. But that's why I was like, yeah, okay, fine. I get the strike. I don't get that reasoning. And if it was never reported, by the way, you probably would have never got the strike.
Let's bring this up in the next podcast, because I have a lot to say about this. Because
I feel like we can make it a whole YouTube, and we'll have another YouTuber on too that can maybe talk about it as well.
I feel like if Mr. Beast would have done that, he would have gotten away with it. And if he would have gotten that warning, phone call, can you get rid of this on my channel? 2 seconds.
Mr. Beast doesn't live stream.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Did I say Mr. Beast? Hopefully I don't get copyrighted by that too, because I know that's a.
I mean, Mike, I could argue that Mr. Beast would have never even done a stream like that because his team would have shut him down for the idea. They would have told him you can't do that.
But what I'm saying is that a bigger channel channel worth more to them would have gotten more leeway, and that has to change. That has to change.
Can you name a bigger channel that watched a copyright TV show and got leeway?
I'm gonna be the man for change, the man of change, man of tomorrow.
Because I know a lot of big YouTube channels, and they know not to do that. They have a whole team of people that'll be like, nope.
Yeah, I accept that was my mistake of showing.
Yeah. I know you told me behind the scenes that I probably shouldn't have done that.
But yeah, still, I think they took it too far.
By the way, guys, you can go catch my completely questionable legality entire Zelda cartoon series uploaded by Zelda Informer over on dailymotion.com. It's still up. It's been up for almost 20 years. Go enjoy. I provided it free to the internet. I mean, some other guy named Nathaniel Rumpel-Jans provided it free to the internet.
But what?
I'm still waiting for a takedown notice in the mail. I don't even have my login for that account anymore, but it's still up. Every time I want to watch the Zelda cartoon, I just go watch it off my own Dailymotion channel.
Can we do it on this? Can we do it on Discord though? Can
we do it on Discord? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I don't want people to hear me and say, look, this guy is saying it on the other channel. Let's go give him a strike on his channel.
So yeah, I literally am the source of many, many, many people seeing that cartoon for free online. By the way, Dailymotion is all full of copyrighted stuff. I don't know how they haven't been shut down. There's so much. You can get entire movies on there. It's bad. I literally don't know how they survive, but maybe it's probably because they're located in China or something, so it's just hard for them to get shut down. All right. Well, that's going to do it.
Friday. Let me do a small plug. Friday, there's a big giant special announcement on the channel. On
2 days.
On Odyssey News Friday, we have a big, huge, giant special announcement. You don't want to miss it. It's a big one for the channel. It's really
Didn't you tease what the announcement's about just now?
it's gonna change the history of the channel, and it's gonna change the direction of the channel in a massive way. It's not going to affect what's currently being done and the topics that are currently being given, but it's gonna change the direction of the channel in a massive way, in a good way. No, Mike is not pregnant. No, Mike. So it's gonna change the direction of the channel in a massive way without affecting how it's currently doing.
I wish you luck with that, sir.
And including, I can say this, a brand new show.
Don't overextend yourself now.
No, I mean, I'm not really extending myself. I'm just replacing something, or more like, I'll talk about more on Friday.
I'm gonna say because you just said nothing's being replaced, and now you said you're replacing.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not like, for example,
Don't Helena Taylor me, Mike.
it's not going to affect what I'm doing now because I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing now. I'm on Nintendo First channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're gonna add
This is coming,
more
by the
to
way, from
it
somebody who knows what he's going to announce.
affecting-
So.
But it's a big move. It's a big move.
It is.
It's a big
It's a very big move, and I do wish you luck on it. I won't send any more teases
move.
on
I'm
what
not
it is.
starting
'Cause I
on
know what it is.
OnlyFans. No OnlyFans.
No.
I don't even know what that is.
Dude, it's where people go to find pictures of feet.
Pictures of feet. Why would I put my horrible feet on?
Because you're
What the heck?
you're the sexiest man in Florida. That includes the head to toe.
Is that real?
Including the
Is
toe.
that real?
Do not,
People show
Mike. Do not go to Only. Please tell me you know what OnlyFans actually is, right?
I do not know what OnlyFans.
Okay, do not go to OnlyFans. Do not go to OnlyFans, Mike.
I'm not gonna go there. I've seen it on the channel.
As someone who won't even
OnlyFans.
swear, super religious, do not go to OnlyFans.
I'm like, Mike,
Don't go.
do you have an OnlyFans? I'm like, what does that mean? Is that like a membership account or like a?
I've had people on my podcast from OnlyFans.
What?
Yes, I have in the past.
What is that?
They do other things besides OnlyFans, but I mean, it's a thing they do to make money. So just leave it at that. Don't go to OnlyFans.
I'm too afraid to.
It's a place where people pay money to see things. That's all.
Oh, that's not good.
That's all.
All right, that's all I know. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
I mean,
the
it
heck
can
you
be
asking me to
anything.
do that?
It doesn't have to be bad. It's just so much that it usually is. By the way, I have no problem. People can do whatever they want with their bodies. I really don't care. It's their choice.
Okay, so don't forget to catch Nate's OnlyFans this weekend.
I mean, I did think about opening up an OnlyFans to show off my potato chip collection, exclusively on OnlyFans. It's going to be $29.99 per post.
You got Doritos, you got Cheetos, you got Pringles, we got Funyuns.
Oh, see, my chips are shaped like states. I've been trying to for 30 years get all 50 states naturally out of a bag shaped from a chip.
Oh, man.
I know.
But
You should see my Florida one. It's
listen. Other than the changes that are coming on Friday, I am more active. Well, you know how I haven't been live streaming. I don't live stream that much
you
anymore.
don't stream that much anyways, yeah.
But it's because I've been trying to upgrade my system. You know, it's hard to live stream on Mac. It's just been really.
Yes.
So I've been upgrading my system.
I mean, if
in
you're getting
order
rid
for
of
me
your
to-
Mac, I'll take it. I'm taking donations.
But I at least bought a better. I told you about the Elgato.
Yeah.
Elgato.
The captures card. Yep.
Yeah, so that one works perfectly with Mac OS, so I can actually live stream, and I will be live streaming on Twitch, not YouTube. I'm now terrified of YouTube because if I live
Plus, if
stream
you
on
get dinged
YouTube,
on Twitch, it doesn't affect your
if
YouTube.
see my face live, they want to strike it. I'm like, hi, strike. You're not supposed to say that.
Plus, if you get dinged on Twitch, it doesn't affect your YouTube, which is always nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
so,
Twitch
yeah,
has their
so
own rules and they're really weird. But
I'm still trying to get my first 50. I'm trying to get my first 50 likes or followers on Twitch. So if you guys have a Twitch account and you want to go over there, just hit follow. You know,
yeah, let's get him up to the ability for us to give him our free Amazon Prime subs.
Wait, really? What's
Yeah.
that? What's that? See, I'm new.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
So you need to become an affiliate first. You're probably not gonna be big enough yet. Once you become an
What is that?
affiliate, that's when you can make money, quote unquote, make money. And then they
okay,
have
like the-
subs, which is like YouTube members. And anyone who's an Amazon Prime member has a free Twitch sub included with their Amazon Prime membership.
And what is that? What is that?
They go and they hit sub. It's like hitting joins. You know your Nintendo Power Up members. It's like that, but on Twitch. Except if you already have Amazon Prime, a lot of people don't realize they have it. It's free. Use it anytime. By the way, can't use it on Mike's channel right now, so you might as well head over to Nintendo Prime TV on Twitch and use it there. I will appreciate it. And you'll get $2.50 from every person who uses the Amazon.
Like the streamer gets $2.50
if they use their
But
Amazon
it's
Prime.
free for them?
It's free for them if they have Amazon Prime. Yes.
And what is it? Is this like a monthly thing? Like
Yeah,
every month
they'd have to manually do it every month if they want it, because the Amazon Prime one doesn't automatically renew. Now they can become member. They can hit sub outside of that and put a card on it and have it renew as well. And you can do different levels like you can on YouTube. But the default level is $5, but you don't really get $5 because Twitch is 50-50. So they take 50% of it. But
all right, yeah. I mean that sounds
it's
fun
free.
because I'm trying to learn it.
It's free for like. All the money I've ever made on Twitch has been from people using Amazon Prime subs.
So I need to get my first 50 Twitchers, or I'm still trying to find a name.
And there you go, Corey Boehm dropping the link to my Twitch channel if you guys want to go drop your free Twitch sub. By the way, you might see me randomly playing Madden games on that Twitch channel because one of the leagues I'm in requires the away team to stream every single game. I will not be like on voice chat or anything. I'm literally just streaming it off the Xbox. So like I'm using the Xbox itself to stream it. So.
And my Twitch is basically the same as Nate, but instead of Nintendo Prime is Mike Odyssey.
So Mike Odyssey TV.
No, just Mike Odyssey.
Oh yeah, I had to put the TV on. See, I owned the Nintendo Prime one, but I mean, it's whatever. Look,
Twitch.com
I
Mike
messed up.
Odyssey.
Messed up.
If you follow me today, I promise you I will eat a cookie.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 72 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. You guys can hear it everywhere podcasts are heard. Assuming that I told you guys at the beginning of this episode, assuming everything's going all right, I'll try to make sure every audio episode is up tomorrow. I have everything done through 72. It's just not uploaded. I think 60 up through 69 is uploaded, but I have the rest done, and I'll get this one done. It's just, we'll see. Thank you guys for all the happy thoughts you guys gave me throughout the stream, the fun we had. Thank you, Mike, for showing up to the podcast as always. And for so much more behind the scenes. And thank you to all of our future guests we have coming up, helping make this podcast rock in the absence of the empty chair, Eric. I'm looking at right now. poor Eric.
Eric, wherever you are, man, hurry up.
Also, you know what's funny, Mike? I'm pretty sure next week on the podcast episode, one of the lead topics might be about another change at both of our channels.
Nice.
Happening in the month of November. Starting in November, anyways.
So in the next episode, we'll be talking about the change that that already happened on my channel and the change that is coming to your channel. Guys, you can't miss that episode. Cliffhanger.
All right, later, guys.
Peace.